Herman Allen Plumbing and Heating is now a division of Bantam's Plumbing, a locally owned, family-run company. We also offer deferred interest financing for up to 18 months for any major purchase. Now's the time to take care of that project you've been waiting for. Contact us at 746-5853. At Herman Allen, we want to be your plumber.
Sadie and Danny.
ESPN 950 and Sports FM 100.5. Now, to the Richmond Sports Center. Here's Matt Josephs.
Bob Black, nice to meet you. How are you? Good. It's great to have you guys in.
Big crowd today, huh?
I hope so. You guys are helping, so I appreciate that. So.
The Discover Card, UPS, Lux Chevrolet, Outback Steakhouse, and by the University of Richmond School of Professional and Continuing Studies. Be a part of the show. Call 804-622-0950 or 877-994-4950. Or send an email to spidersportsline@richmond.edu. Now let's go live to Outback Steakhouse. Here's the voice of the Spiders, Bob Black, with Coach Rocco. This is the Spider Sportsline on ESPN 950, Sports FM 100.5, and the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by Ace Electric.
First and goal, Spiders, the nose of the football right on the 10-yard line. Green lines up behind Loletta, takes the handoff, goes left side to the 5, and slices through and into the end zone. Touchdown, Spiders! Jacoby Green, his third rushing touchdown of the year. Out of the shotgun formation, Christensen takes the snap, backpedals, sets, looks to the near side, runs to the far side. On the run, he'll get tackled around the legs by Omar Howard. Howard's got a quarterback sack and a loss all the way back to the 21-yard line. 3rd and 1, Moon at fullback, Green at tailback. Green follows Moon, right side, 10-5, touchdown. Jacoby Green, second touchdown of the game, 12 yards out. He follows T.J. Moon into the end zone. And everybody's followed Spider fans into Outback Steakhouse for today's edition of the Spider Sportsline. Welcome in, everybody, those of you in the restaurant and those of you listening on our radio station, ESPN 950, and online at richmondspiders.com, Sports FM 100.5 as well. Now back with head coach Danny Rocco. Thanks for being with us today on the heels of another Spider victory, another impressive effort by the Richmond Spiders, rising in the rankings as well. The 27-14 victory over Elon, and Richmond now 13th in both of the national rankings heading into this week's game at Rhode Island. Coming up a little bit later, our special player guest, quarterback Kyle Laletta, and defensive back Ira Raguni will join us, talk some Spider football. We hope to hear from you as well. Got some callers waiting for Coach Rocco. We'll get to them in a moment. 622-0950. Email spidersportsline@richmond.edu. Coach Rocco, congrats on another very impressive, effective victory Saturday over Elon. 2 areas I know we talked about last week that you wanted to see positive things from, and as we said on the post-game show, mission accomplished, running the football, 250 yards rushing, and getting to the quarterback, 5 quarterback sacks.
Yeah, it was a good, complete game, I thought, on our part, and, I think that the final score wasn't really indicative of the flow of the play of the game, and, some of that was my doing at the end, and I wanted to get some guys in the game. I definitely wanted to get Kevin Johnson out there and put him out there on the 1-yard line coming off the goal line, so that's as good a place as any. So I think our ability to run the ball was the biggest difference in the game, and it took their quarterback about 3 quarters to kind of get settled in. We had a lot of pressure early. As the game went on a little bit, he got settled in there a little bit and made some really good throws there late in the game. But, all in all, pretty complete win. We went into the locker room 17-0, and at that time, I think they had 64 yards total offense at the half. That's a pretty solid performance by your defense, and that's hard to sustain, for 4 quarters. So, good win. I think it kind of keeps us, right on track. We had, built some momentum at the VMI game. We certainly generated a lot of energy and enthusiasm against Maine, and I think we sustained what we had, and now we got to take it on the road, and we got to see how this team can perform on the road, trying to recreate, the last couple of performances that we've had at home.
Saturday during the broadcast, Chris Anderson said, boy, there's only one football out there. We've got so many talented guys. There's only one football to go around, and yet you found a way to share that football Saturday, particularly with Jacoby and Seth, both going over 100 yards. First time that's happened for the Richmond Spiders since a couple of pretty fair running backs, Tim Hightower and Josh Vaughn.
Yeah, it's really impressive, and I was really excited about that, and I was pretty much aware of that when it was happening. I kind of pumped Seth a little more in the second half because Jacoby got 103 or 104, I think, early in the third quarter. So it played out a little differently maybe in the balance of carries as the game went on, but I thought it would be meaningful to get to that point in this performance. So I was certainly happy and excited about that. But you got to give the credit to the offensive line. I mean, those guys really did a nice job opening up some holes and creating some running lanes in there for those two guys to get up and running. So feel good about that. We got to continue to build upon it. And then, we didn't have quite as many shots down the field this week versus Elon that we had the week before versus Maine. And one of the things I do though, I do track Brian and Reggie, just whether it's targets or touches, and I do track Seth and Jacoby. And it's hard to be perfect. It's a hard thing to manage. Jacoby gets some touches on kickoff return and punt return. So there is a possibility that he may have a long return on a kickoff. They kind of want you to take him out for a little bit just to catch his breath and get the rhythm of the game back. So we do track those things, but we're fortunate that we have a number of different weapons to share the ball with.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, the other guy who I thought had a really solid game and never touched the ball, and I know his running backs were very thankful for him, was T.J. Moon.
Boy, I was impressed. His play count has been relatively limited. He's showing up more in some of our short yardage goal line, two tight end formations, but he had two real physical blocks that come to memory, and I think both of them sprung Jacoby, if I'm not mistaken, and really good picture on the field. I saw them both, and then when you went back and watched the film. But again, guys have got to do the things that we value in their skill set, and that's one of the things we value. We don't need TJ to carry the ball. Not that he can't. That's the thing. It's not that he can't carry the ball, but we don't need him to carry the ball. But those other guys can't block like that, so he's got to do that, and he did it at a very high level out there on Saturday.
Is he tugging at your sleeve to carry the ball? Now, once upon a time, I remember Seth Fisher tugging on your sleeve to carry the ball.
Seth was a little more bothersome than TJ has been, but Seth eventually got his way. But TJ's he's in Coach Woods' ear a little bit about that, and if he does a good job blocking, we usually throw him the bone and give him the ball.
Hey, one more, and then we'll get to Ivan. We've actually got a couple callers waiting for you. We'll do those in the first segment. You've referenced this a little bit, but how good was this past month for Spider football? You've got a 3-game homestand spread out literally over a month, over 4 weeks because of the bye week. For you guys to really get a comfort zone, I realize on the back end you're going to hit the road beginning this week, but to go through that month, get the 3 wins, be in the comfort of your own facility.
Yeah, it's interesting. Every year when the schedule comes out, I have to look at the schedule and then make the schedule right. It's like people can come to me and say, "Oh, how do you feel about this?" Well, that's the schedule, so I feel good about it. And people wanted to talk about the back end of the schedule, and I said, well, this is a good schedule for us. It gives us an opportunity to take a younger team, give them an opportunity to gain some confidence and get some execution, and I think we've done that. Being at home the last 3 weeks in a month, I think has been very enjoyable for our football team and for our fan base. And to the credit of our kids, they've come out and played, and they've kind of answered the bell. And I told them here this morning when I met with them that we've positioned ourselves where we have to be. Now things shift. We get into the second half of the season. We basically have 2 3-game pods, and they're both away home. So we've got to be a road warrior here, and I talked a little bit about what that looks like and what that means, and it starts with the mentality of being on a business trip, and I kind of spelled the whole thing out here this morning, which I thought was good because we're able to process it. We'll come back this afternoon with our 3 o'clock meeting and have our first practice here specifically towards our preparation for Rhode Island.
Hey, real quick, because those that are listening very closer to you are probably thinking, what do you mean this morning? Why are you talking to the guys this morning? It's a Tuesday. That's not your normal routine. But this is actually fall break week at the University of Richmond, so it does give you a chance to do a few different things, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's been good. And, we've kind of strategized over the years on how to use this, and what usually happens here is our students at the university, our student athletes, they're kind of bombarded with midterms, heading into this fall break. So last week was a very, very, very difficult and challenging week for all the students here at the university as they were focusing in on producing for those midterms. So, that got done. So there's this Monday, Tuesday that kind of allows our student athletes to kind of get a little bit of rest, get a little bit of recovery, and we kind of focused in on three things, but one of them was academic enhancement, and we actually have opportunity right now where we have a group of about 22. I don't want to call it study hall, because study hall is something that's kind of regimented throughout the year. This is a different program that allows a little more specific addressing specific needs for a number of guys, and I think that's going on right now as I speak. And then this afternoon we're getting to a normal schedule 3 o'clock team meeting, and the good thing is they won't be coming in from class and they won't have to leave early to go to class at the end of the day. So I have a pretty attentive group here, pretty much consolidated for the rest of the afternoon, and then we're going to go out and practice on the grass today, because this game here will be on grass, and I want to get out there at least twice this week in preparation.
Sounds good. All right, let's go to the phones. 622-0950 gets you in touch with head coach Danny Rocco. Ivan, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hey, Bob and Coach, how you both doing?
How are you? Good.
Good. Well, congratulations on a great team victory you had last Saturday. I mean, your defense played great. Your offense was doing good. Was there any negatives? I couldn't see any negatives out of the game. I mean, you played great the whole game.
I appreciate that. I think I found a couple, but I appreciate that. I think that we had a couple of opportunities in the game to really extend the lead, and that's one of the things that I think that really good teams are able to do. They're able to capitalize on those moments, and a lot of times in the game, Ivan, you don't really know when those moments show up. It's not always when you think it shows up. It's not always like a big interception or a big momentum play. It's just converting a third down or getting off the field. We had an opportunity one time to get off the field on third down, and we missed a tackle on the quarterback in the open field. And it just frustrated me to no end. They continued to drive and they scored. And it was almost like one of those things that never should have happened. So we have to educate our players on those moments. That was a moment right there that we could have flat ended the football game, forced a punt, gotten the ball back, and extended the lead. So, and the other thing was penalties. This was very disappointing to me as I look at we had too many penalties in the game. I think we had 9 for 80 yards, but when I looked at the formula from last week's Delaware-Rhode Island game, now again, we'll talk about this later, but Rhode Island beat Delaware 20-0. Okay, one of the big things was Delaware had 3 interceptions, all right, -3 in the turnover battle. They had 9 penalties for 120 yards. Do you realize how many yards of penalties that is? So you think about it, Bob, you have a 20-yard run called back by holding. Okay, so you do the math, but these penalties end up being, 30, 35-yard penalties in reality. Yeah. So instead of going 20, 25 yards forward, you're going backwards 10 or 15, and it ends up being a difference 30, 35 yards. You do that through the course of the game, you're giving up field position and scoring opportunities, and that happened to us a little bit. We self-destructed with some penalties, and of course they were all good calls. I've never had a call out there, so they were all good calls, and just got to live with the result.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Delaware. They're coming off like you said, a loss. What the key tasks, who are the key players, and how different is it? You got a new start. How different is it to get the players ready for a new start when you play a lot of the games about 3:30 or 6 o'clock in the evening?
Well, that's a good point there, Ivan. As we head up to Rhode Island here this week, I took this morning to address that entire timeline. And because I'm one of those guys that believes that information is power, knowledge is power, so I want to give them as much information as I can give them. And I don't want to wait till Thursday, to kind of say, hey guys, this is what it's going to be like on Friday and Saturday. And since we had a little bit of this fall break, I had a little more time here in the morning, I kind of covered all that stuff this morning and kind of honed in on the edge, the mindset you need to have in playing on the road, and then the logistics, the travel, and I think in reality, the 20-0 victory over Delaware is the attention getter. I don't think you need to have another attention getter. So that's turn on the film and look at the score. But those other elements, the noon kickoff, the timeline, so I told him what time pregame meal was. I told him how long the bus trip was from the hotel to the field. I told him how far the walk was from the locker room to the field, because they have a unique situation there, as you well know.
Oh, yeah.
Some good people that have been to Albany before recognize it was kind of that long walk to the field. Rhode Island, we're in their basketball arena. Be like being in the Robbins Center, and having to walk around the building, across the parking lot, down in the field. No big deal. But if you don't know it in advance, you're like, where are we going? What are we doing? So you just want to give them as much information, and then, hey, it's your responsibility to have yourself ready. Okay, I'm giving you the information, I'm going to have you prepared, but you got to take ownership to have yourself ready. Kick 12 noon.
Yeah. One last question. I noticed, today's sport announcers retirement, and some other coaches have been fired during the season. Is it much tougher to coach in the Division 1A level than it is in the Division 1AA? Because you never see all that much controversy over coaches, being fired in the middle of the season and everything. Is it getting more controversial, more pressure packed in the Division 1A level?
That's a great question. I think that it's kind of standard across the board. I think that as the social media element has increased in our country and the easy access of information and the instant ability to weigh in on different things, I think that at all levels, at all Division I levels, FCS, FBS, there are some realities that the jobs are getting a little more demanding, a little bit harder. There's more things to manage. We manage things today that even 5 years ago I didn't have to manage. I have to educate my players on things that weren't even in existence 5 years ago. So there's things that they could do or say or different platforms that they could speak from. They can get in trouble, whereas those platforms didn't even exist 5 years ago. And so a lot of these things that I think you're seeing and hearing and reading stem a little bit from the accessibility to information. There's so much information out there. All the information is so accessible. So there's a reality that any of us that kind of find ourselves in a bad moment, and we all have bad moments, those moments you're held accountable for. And, but it's a great question, and it's kind of the landscape, but I think the landscape is moving in that direction, at both of the levels, both FCS and BCS.
Well, good luck, Coach. Hope you have a big team victory. Good luck, Coach!
Oh, thank you. Wow. That was cool.
I know. I was actually just sitting here thinking as you answered that question, Steve Spurrier is up on the screen on the TV here at Outback, who just, I think somewhat shockingly, retired yesterday from the game right in the middle of the season. Shockingly?
Yes, and again, but I'm sure there's people close to Coach Spurrier that kind of sensed and recognized that this was a moment in time that he may have to weigh in on and make a decision on. And right now at this stage of the year, it's kind of unbelievable, the turnover but you never know the whole story, and I think that's the one thing Randy Lutz was a good friend of mine. Randy and I coached together for 3 years, and we've stayed connected, and, what you see is what you see, what you read is what you read. Okay, now tell me the real story.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, whether it's 80% accurate or 85 or 75% accurate, there's still another part of the story that very seldom is out and about, and at the discretion of the people involved, they do or do not offer that information. So
just go on Twitter, Coach. You'll get the real story there, right?
There's no way we can get that information.
Absolutely. Hey, let's take one more phone call, then we'll get to the first break, and we'll get our guys up here. Jason, thank you for waiting. You're on the Spider Sports Line with Coach Rocco.
Hey, Coach, I want to congratulate you again on a good win.
Thanks, Jason.
And Alvin kind of touched on some of the things I was going to talk about, so I'll be brief. But one thing I was wondering, and I think it's good that with the success you've had these past few weeks, you've been able to get some of your subs some good playing time was wondering, it seemed like you've been able to get subs in the game, like even as early in the fourth quarter, but then you always wait for the last couple of minutes for your offensive line before you sub them out. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, there is. It's last week the reason was more that I felt Kevin needed to have the first offensive line in front of him. I didn't want to put him in a situation. His development right now is very critical because we all know that in a moment's notice he could be in the game at quarterback, and we got some options at guard. We have an option at center. But I think that's probably the best way to answer that question. I wanted Kevin to have at least one series, with that first offensive line. Defensively, Jason, I think it's very easy to freely substitute your defensive linemen. You go into and through a game, even when the game's in balance, we may play 7, 8, 9 defensive linemen in a game, but in a game that's a tight game that goes 4 quarters, you may just play 5 offensive linemen. So I think just in general, the O-line's a little less of a freely substituted position. And then for me this week, it had a little more to do with the fact that KJ was at quarterback, and I wanted to give him an opportunity to do some things behind that first offensive line.
Okay, and is there a chance of, what's the word on Broadus? Is there a chance he'll be back, or is he done for the year?
I would say there's a chance. I think yesterday I made a comment that his situation is still ongoing, but his status is unchanged. So if something became definitive, we would certainly make a statement.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, folks.
Appreciate it, Jason. Thanks.
Good stuff. First segment went a little longer today. Let's take a quick time out and come back with segment 2 of our Spider Sports Line. Coming up from Outback Steakhouse, 7917 West Broad Street, right here, live on ESPN 950, Sports FM 100.5, and the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by Ace Electric. Have you been dreaming about a new deck, screen, porch, or room addition? Make it happen by calling Adadec at 285-4239. Adadec doesn't just build decks. Of course, we can build your new deck or renovate your old one. We also build beautiful screen porches, open porches, sunrooms, and other room additions, and have been for over 25 years. We can design it, build it, and turn your dream into reality. Visit Adadec on the web at adadec.com or call 285-4239 today. That's 285-4239 for additions and decks by Adadec. At UR School of Professional and Continuing Studies, we offer flexible and affordable degrees to help you start, advance, or change your career. Explore our newest graduate degrees in nonprofit studies and public history. Plus, check out our new bachelor's degree and certificate in information security. With evening classes and tuition starting at just $450 per semester hour, you can earn a UR degree on your terms. The University of Richmond School of Professional and Continuing Studies. We work for working professionals. Visit spcs.richmond.edu for details. Hi, Bob Black here. As the voice of your Richmond Spiders, I see the fans' passion for our hometown team come to life each Saturday in the fall. UPS shares the same passion for helping businesses turn a challenge into a solution. Because they're not just in the shipping business, they're in the problem-solving business. Visit ups.com/solvers to see how UPS can help your team find the winning formula. UPS, official logistics company of Richmond Athletics. Hurry in to Outback for our limited time only steak and unlimited shrimp, starting at just $15.99. Hurry in for our sirloin and unlimited garlic herb shrimp or unlimited crispy shrimp with new volcano sauce. And let the bold flavors speak for themselves. Outback Steakhouse, done right. There are 5 great Outback restaurants in the Richmond area. Visit Outback.com for the location nearest you. Prices, products, and participation may vary while supplies last.
If you're craving lunch in Richmond football, you've come to the right place. Outback Steakhouse, 7917 West Broad Street. This is the Spider Sports Line on ESPN 950, Sports FM 100.5, and the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by Ace Electric.
Barletta fakes the green, keeps the ball, bounces to the outside. Taylor angles for the pylon at the 5, and pirouettes into the end zone. Touchdown, Spiders! Thompson looks to throw just as he's hot. He throws it. And Iowa Gooney has his second interception of the game at the 1-yard line. Welcome back to the Spider Sportsline. Bob Black along with head coach Danny Rocco and our special power guest coming up in the next couple of segments. Ira Gooding, you heard the second of his 2 interceptions from Saturday just a moment ago, and quarterback Kyle Laletta will also be joining us. Kyle had the rushing touchdown, also another very effective day passing the football, so we'll welcome both of them. Both of them still had some assignments this morning, even without classes, meetings, academic enhancement, that sort of thing, so they are trickling in. Ira has gotten here first. Kyle will be joining him here in just a little bit. Congrats on another terrific game, the 2 interceptions for you, the defensive performance. Where do you feel this defense is at right now and the improvement that you guys have made probably since the Maryland game? Talking to you defensive guys, everybody seems to be using, after the Maryland game, here's what we did to get better.
Yeah, I mean, I just think we're in a good spot. Both stopping the pass and stopping the run. I think we're just getting better every week. I feel like this past game we finally put together a full game, both stopping the run and then stopping the pass and then taking the ball away. I mean, altogether, I think we're just playing well. I feel like we're going to get better as the season goes on. I think it's been showing that so far.
Well, tell us a little about the 2 interceptions. You heard the one call there. That was the second of the day. But from the defensive back's eyes, tell us what you saw. You stepped in front of a receiver again, very similar on the first one to the touchdown run you had against VMI, right?
Yeah, it was real similar. It's the same route. I think it was a hitch route, I believe. And we had just been talking about it all week that they would try to get the ball out quick, and we made some adjustments to basically try to combat that. And I saw the same look that I had seen on film, and I was able to get a good break on it and step in front of it on the first interception.
How about the second one?
The second one was just more so, it was more of a scramble drill, and he kind of just threw it up there for grabs, and I was able to go up and get it at the highest point and box the receiver out.
Is that the ultimate for a defensive back, the interceptions, be it the pick six?
Yeah.
I would assume that is the one against VMI, but even the first one in the game against Elon was at the goal line. I mean, they were getting deep into our territory.
Yeah, it was definitely the ultimate. I mean, we always like to get interceptions as a cornerback, so anytime you can take the ball away, I mean, it's really just a great feeling. I mean, basically amps up your whole game. I mean, once you can get an interception early, I mean, the rest of the game just feels smoother. You feel more confident in everything you can do. So
you and David Jones tied for the league lead in INTs with 3. We got a little friendly competition.
Yeah.
Take us behind the scenes. What's going on between you and
a real bit of competition going on. I told him last week I was going to catch him because, I mean, he's in the lead right now. So, I mean, everybody's looking to catch him right now. And, I mean, it's kind of a good thing where you're competing among yourselves to, get interceptions and stuff like that. I mean, it's only going to help the defense. So.
How has Iowa's game progressed now in his senior year, Danny, to the point that he is so reliable on that defensive sector?
Yeah, he's doing a great job and a great job of leadership, and he has progressed steadily, throughout his career. And he was hampered with some injuries, early on, and he's just very, very diligent. I would say that, he's made himself. He's always had the skill. He's got the body. He's got the skill. He's made himself a more mature player. I use the word professional. He's more of a professional player right now. He does his due diligence. He studies the film. He recognizes splits. He recognizes stances, formations, and when it's time to make a play, he's stepping up and making the play. And you talk about the ball disruption and the interceptions. This carries over into practice. Bob's Coach Trott's doing a really good job with these guys. In practice, they're completing the intercept passes, and whether it's, doing some of our pursuit drills or some of our 7-on-7 drills or some of our teamwork, they are trying to get their hands on the ball and they're trying to intercept the football. So when you have that mentality and mindset in practice, it's only going to heighten itself when you get into the games, and I think that's a little bit of the byproduct that we're witnessing here this year.
Take us through that progression as a football player at Richmond and how different you are today than you were, when you walked onto this campus as a true freshman who played a little less than 4 years ago.
I would definitely say I'm a smarter player now than I was back then. I mean, I feel like I have a better understanding of the game. I mean, I know how to watch film better. I know how to, take the I see on the film and then translate it to the field better so than I did maybe my freshman year. Most of my freshman year, I was just out there playing and reacting, not necessarily not knowing exactly what I'm doing, but just playing like I always knew to play. But now, Now more so than ever, I feel I have a better understanding of the game and film and the preparation, the whole process that goes into being a good player.
How much are you translating that to some of the younger guys now that you can impart some of that wisdom from when you went from freshman to sophomore to junior year, or do they just kind of live it and learn it on their own?
We try to translate it to them. Like, we always get together on Thursdays after practice to watch the film, and we try to get as many guys in there as possible and try to get that in them early. The film is very important, and the more film you watch, the better football player you become.
I was going to ask you to talk a little bit about the offense and Kyle Loletta before he got here, so you could speak to that about it. but this hour, so I'll still let you speak a little bit about what you're seeing in offense from a defensive guy's perspective, and particularly, the emergence, Kyle, only being a sophomore, really didn't have much playing time under his belt until this year, and where he's come.
I think the offense has been looking great so far. They've been looking balanced. We've been able to take shots down the field and then control the ball, running the ball. And then Kyle's been great this year. He's just been good at managing the game and, not making mistakes, not turning the ball over. And, we asked him to hit shots down the field. He's been doing a great job of doing it so far. And, I think his ceiling is real high. He's only going to get better with each and every game.
I want to share a story here, and it's just odd that it played out this way. I didn't know these guys were going to be here, per se. But so we're going to Hampton. We go in the locker room at halftime, and we're in trouble. We are playing uphill on a slippery slope, and we find a way to win. Both sides of the ball kind of weigh in and do what they had to do, took care of business, came out of a big win, celebrate, whatever. Well, we're communicating, talking. I think it might have been Sunday, and I'm talking to Kyle. And actually, I was having a meeting with my leadership council is what it was. And we started talking about some different things. We started talking about the game. And, and Kyle shared the unity, talking about the unity of the team. And so Kyle shares with this group how one of the things that really made a huge difference to him during the game was at halftime, Io walked up to Kyle and said, "Kyle, we believe in you, man." And at that moment, they had no reason to believe in him. You know what I mean? But he shared that vote of confidence, and it just kind of permeated, through Kyle. So, okay, well, these guys believe in me. These guys are counting on me, And again, not that they're the best friends, the worst friends, whatever, but, it's a neat thing about being able to do what I do. You get to be around young people and bring them together, a common cause. Come united, fight for a common cause, and share a common value system. So his words resonated with our quarterback. And our quarterback went out and he answered the bell. And now we're kind of through and moving onward. And it's those moments that are so special that, and again, I've noticed frequently, I just wanted to share that because we're both here today. Until the radio show, when you have the time. Stories such as that. I was actually going to give you a minute to catch your breath walking and run off the street, Colin, take a commercial, but I can't do that without following up on what Coach just talked about. So take us inside the locker room at Hampton, that kind of rainy, windy Saturday afternoon, lightning as I recall, and what was going through your mind at halftime after a first half in which you had thrown that interception early in the game.
Absolutely. As an offense, we were struggling. There was no doubt about it. We kind of got in there at halftime, and everybody was looking down. Nobody really had that, feeling of confidence that you really need as an offense to get drives going and keep momentum going. And it was a great moment. Io came up to me, and it's not necessarily somebody that I'm, close with on the team. We're not, best friends, him being a senior and him being on the defense, but for him to come up to me in that moment and really just tell me, "Hey, we believe in you. This is, your offense, and, we believe in you to get this going." It really gave me that confidence that I needed. And, we came out in the second half and, we started going up tempo and everybody was on the same page. And it was just a great moment. And I'm very fortunate to have, good teammates like Io. And, I think that's another great just part of this team is that we're so united. We're all supportive of each other. Whenever anybody makes a bad play or, makes a play where they're not supposed to be, someone's always there to pick them up. And it's an important component of every team to be supportive, and I think that was definitely a good moment, that showed how great of a team we really are.
Really good story and good reaction. Real quick, before the break, what prompted you to do that? What prompted you at that moment? You know, Kyle said he hadn't, and Coach said really hadn't given you the opportunity to come up to him and say something like that. You're not, you know, the tightest guys on the team. Obviously, you're good teammates and friends. What prompted that moment for you?
I mean, really, just seeing that the whole team as a whole wasn't playing well. I mean, I wasn't playing well for sure, and I mean, really, you can only go as far as your quarterback's going to take you. I mean, the quarterback's probably the most important position on the field. So, I mean, just getting him up and then letting him know that we have faith in him and that, I mean, we only go as far as he can take us. So, I mean, just letting him know that and then giving him that confidence. Really, that was really my motivation to do it. I mean, other than that, yeah.
Well done by both of you and the entire team that day at Hampton, and came out of there with a win. All right, catch your breath now. We'll take a break. Come back more with Kyle Maletta, Ira Laguti, our special player guests on today's edition of the Spider Sportsline from Outback Steakhouse on the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by Ace Electric. What it's like. That persistent nagging feeling that will only go away when you get away. For those with a passion for travel, there's the new Discover It Miles card. You earn unlimited 1.5 miles for every dollar you spend, and you can fly any airline anytime with no blackout dates. Just buy your ticket and use miles to credit your statement. Apply now and Discover will double your miles at the end of your first year. So go on, scratch that travel itch. Get the new Discover It Miles card today. Limitations apply. Double miles for new card members only. Learn more at discover.com/miles.
Need a good price on tires with great service? Visit Dyke Tire, your locally owned Tire Pros dealer for all your car care needs. Our services start with a full line of tires for your car and truck. We work on all vehicles from oil changes to repairs to your engine that will keep your car safe on the road. Dyke Tire Pros is a proud supporter of the University of Richmond Spiders. Visit Dyke Tire Pros in Richmond today at 2503 North Skipwith Road or online at dyketire.com.
Can you handle a full rack? Buzz can. He's been smoking, chopping, saucing, and glazing barbecue his way for over 30 years, specializing in succulent, spare, tender baby back, and jumbo beef ribs with recipes handed down for generations. And don't forget about the award-winning pulled pork sandwiches, cooked daily over Buzz's signature hickory smoked wood. Stop by the original location at 1119 North Boulevard in the Fan, or the new Buzz & Ned's Real Barbecue at 8205 West Broad Street in the West End.
Lunch is on the table, and the Spider Sportsline is on the air. Live from Outback Steakhouse, 7917 West Broad Street, on ESPN 950, Sports FM 100.5, and the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by Ace Electric.
Now VMI's first offensive play is intercepted. It's going to be a pick six. It's a touchdown. Richmond Spiders, Iowa Cody. Skip right in front of the receiver. Loletta wants to throw again. He is airing it out, and he has got Brian Brown. And Brian Brown's going to have a 75-yard touchdown. Couple of highlights from the two guys who are with us today. Ira Laguti on the defensive side, Kyle Maletta on the offensive side with Coach Rocco. Ira, we kind of alluded to it a little bit. I was kind of waiting for the highlight to be played of the pick six. Take us back through that one. We've already established it, obviously. That's like hitting a grand slam or a dunk or whatever in other sports. Take play was coming.
Yeah, it just goes back to the film. When they came out in certain formations and lined certain guys up to the side of the field, we knew this is Durant, and that happened to be one of them. And we had the right call at that particular play rack the whole time, and I just kind of glued my eyes onto him. I didn't even really look at the receiver, and I was able to get a good break.
One of the long that Coach had mentioned about that particular game is you guys did a lot during the week to kind of disguise your defenses so that when they
coming into the game.
question as our quarterback how often are you predetermined where you're throwing it, or how much of it become a progression for you? You've obviously got some talented guys out there to throw the ball to. If it's not Reggie, it's Brian. If it's not Brian, it's Porter, and so a DB knows what you're doing.
One, because they disguise so well. That's one thing. Is other defenses, I don't think, disguise nearly as defense does. Snap happens. They're roading, they're blitzing. The looks our defense gives us is, you have to throw in a certain spot. So, when we go in practice and we do our period in practice where it's just offense against defense, and it's kind of, that's a good time and for practice. And a lot of the times you go out there and learn a certain defense, and you're like, dang, all right, now I know I can't throw this certain route. So like Alice said, they do a great job of making you throw certain throws, take what they give you. For instance, if in this look, you're not going to have the post, so we're going to have to, throw the check down here or there. But I mean, that's the beauty of our offense is, the pro style offense is kind of just going through your reads, and it's a lot more full field reads, a lot more, if the first one's not here, then the second one, then we check the ball down. We're not predetermining where we throw, but in certain times, the defense is going to dictate where you throw the ball. And if they're covering something, you can't be aggressive. You can't, do something that you're not supposed to do. And I think that goes hand in hand with managing the game. Talk all the time about just managing the game and not doing anything outside of the system. And that's another reason why we're not turning the ball over much this year. And that's always important to any victory that we have.
All right, let's get a little background on you guys. A couple folks who are eating lunch here today said, let both those guys tell us a little bit about themselves. I guess it's kind of like going to school for the first time and introducing yourselves to the class. Not that I think either of you really need it, but both of you have taken a little bit different paths to get to where you are today. Kyle, I'll start with you because you actually wound up playing as a true freshman, then redshirted the year, and now you're playing as a redshirt freshman. That's a little bit of an unusual path for a college football player.
Absolutely. I think it was a perfect scenario, to be honest. It was something that was kind of planned when I had first gotten here, but you never know. I mean, things happen, and I was just fortunate to get the opportunity. Freshman year, I learned from Mike Strauss a lot, and I got some in-game experience, which was very crucial to my development. And then, my sophomore year, I kind of let Mike Strauss and Mike Rocco take the reins, and it was great to kind of take a backseat to them too, and just learn from two different guys and two different types of quarterbacks, different types of people, and I just learned a lot. And even though you're a third string and you're not necessarily playing in the games, it doesn't mean that you're still not practicing, you're still not watching the same film, even when they're in making the same reads. I mean, coaches always talk about mental reps, and that was something that I took a lot of pride in my sophomore year, is kind of picture myself in at quarterback, when the plays are happening, and kind of putting my eyes where their eyes should be, and just learning that way. And I think the way that the red shirt happened was a blessing, and I'm definitely lucky to have an extra year.
Suburban Philly guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I like, of course, being a suburban Philly guy as well, and a lot of football in your bloodlines. A lot of guys in your family that played football primarily at the Naval Academy, right?
Mm-hmm. My grandfather was a running back at Delaware, and then my dad was a quarterback at the Naval Academy. My uncle was a punter, and he played some safety at the Naval Academy also. But just learning from him and just growing up in a family like that, I mean, football is always something that I've known ever since I was little. Ever since I can remember, I was playing football. And then lastly, my older brother playing quarterback at my high school before I played there was just awesome to have, because I wasn't a quarterback all along. I only started playing quarterback around 9th grade. Having my older brother and my dad there to teach me and to kind of take me under their wings was helpful along the whole process.
All right, Iowa Gooney, you played as a true freshman from Maryland. You were running back a little bit in high school too, if I remember remember correctly. Take us through your thought process, and Dan. I was gung-ho. It was time.
I thought I was ready to be on the field. Mostly I wanted to play early. I wanted to get on the field and, just get that feel what it's like. And
that in mind, how fast has this gone? And I'm not trying to rush it, because you still got a lot of football to play.
But just yesterday, I was just getting here for Saturday. Never been to a game or anything like that. I didn't really have 2008, and then also Tim Hightower went to my high school when he was, I think, 9.
Tim Hightower and I.O. Goody out of that. And you made the comment during the break, Danny, real quick before we take another break. I was just ready to play. I mean, that's what it boiled down to.
Well, he was ready to play. He was always gifted. He always had size. He was always somewhat of a student of the game, so first year to get him out there and a good season, and he was a big part of it. And even this year with this bottom up, so you're looking at your senior leadership, you're looking at your veteran players, get the absolute most you can get out of them. But this bottom group here, and I don't mean like just the younger kids, add to that. And if you're really working it on both ends, that's the best way to be able to finish your season. Strength, because these younger kids improve a lot more as the season goes on. Your veteran players kind of are what they are, and so for Io 4 years ago, he helped us as the season went on offer some big plays and some depth, and certainly helped us that season.
Both these guys doing a great job. We'll go let them go have some lunch. I know they're rushed to get here a little bit, so appreciate both you guys being here. Class schedule sometimes don't allow them to get to Outback for a noon show, so with no classes today, we're glad both of them got here. Kyle Maletta, Io Gooney. Thanks, fellas.
Thanks for having me.
Back with Coach Rocco and some emails from the Spider Sportsline inbox when we come back to Outback in just a moment on the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by Ace Electric.
100 years is a long time, and Luck Chevrolet is celebrating their 100-year anniversary. Let them use their century of experience to help you find your next Silverado, Suburban, Impala, Malibu, Equinox, or commercial upfit vehicle. Luck Chevrolet uses their vast knowledge of GM vehicles to help you maintain and service your vehicle, to keep it on the road longer and help preserve its value. So for Chevrolet sales, service, or parts, go where experience reigns supreme. Luck Chevrolet in Ashland, and online at luckchevrolet.com. Proud Spider sponsors and proud to be family-owned since 1916.
We know what it's like, that persistent nagging feeling that will only go away when you get away. For those with a passion for travel, there's the new Discover It Miles card. You earn unlimited 1.5 miles for every dollar you spend, and you can fly any airline, anytime with no blackout dates. Just buy your ticket and use miles to credit your statement. Apply now and Discover will double your miles at the end of your first year. So go on, scratch that travel itch. Get the new Discover It Miles card today. Limitations apply. Double miles for new card members only. Learn more at discover.com/miles.
At UR School of Professional and Continuing Studies, we offer flexible and affordable degrees to help you start, advance, or change your career. Explore our newest graduate degrees in nonprofit studies and public history. Plus, check out our new bachelor's degree and certificate in information security. With evening classes and tuition starting at just $450 per semester hour, you can earn a UR degree on your terms. The University of Richmond School of Professional and Continuing Studies. We work for working professionals. Visit spcs.richmond.edu for details.
Hey guys, this is Big Alan. I want to talk to you about something serious, prostate cancer. 1 in 7 of us will develop it. I know firsthand because I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Fortunately, I was diagnosed early, and when caught early, it's treatable. I went to Virginia Urology where my doctor discussed my options, listened to my concerns, and took care of me in a thorough and professional manner. So if you're over 40, have a family history, or are African American, you need to talk to your doctor about an annual prostate cancer screening. Call Virginia Urology, 288-0339, or go to virginiaurology.com.
Family means everything. When you think of businesses you love to use, think of how many of those businesses are family-run. It may be your local grocer, vehicle repair shop, restaurant, or copier company. Copier? That's right. Since 1970, Stone's Office Equipment has been family-owned and operated right here in Richmond. And every Stone's employee is dedicated to going above and beyond to help make your business better. Stone's Office Equipment. Check them out on the web at stonesoffice.com. Go Spiders!
It's out there lurking, big, tall, and green. The grass monster. Is cutting grass taking up too much of your valuable sports time? Arthur's Electric Service has the Toro Time Cutter mower that can significantly reduce your mowing time. Toro simplified operation, zero-turn features, and comfortable ride will have you cutting smarter, not harder. Get the mower that's ready to cut when it goes out the door at Arthur's, located at 8910 Brook Road in Glen Allen. Stop by today to see the full line of Toro Time Cutters, or call 264-2513 to learn how you can save time and effort. And now, back to the game.
This is the Spider Sportsline with head football coach Danny Rocco, live from Outback Steakhouse, 7917 West Broad Street, on ESPN 950, Sports FM 100.5, and the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by Ace Electric.
All right, this hour has kind of flown by today, so good stuff again with Coach Rocco and then Kyle Loretta out of Laguna. Appreciate all the folks in the house today. We've got a really good crowd. We welcome our compliance folks from the CRO out here today, so we're on our best behavior along with our University of Richmond compliance staff, so we appreciate them coming in to the restaurant today for a lunchtime meeting. Welcome to those folks to 7917 West Broad Street, home of Outback Steakhouse and the Spider Sportsline. All right, Coach, to Spider Sportsline at Richmond.edu. I know we are focused on Rotary this week, but can you provide any thoughts on how the league is looking in general at this point, about halfway through the season?
Yeah, that's how I make that question. Obviously, we're focused on Rhode Island. There's a wide openness, I think, right now in the league. One team is sitting at the top, undefeated, with an extra win. They happen to be the second team that has an undefeated record in conference play. Everybody else has got a loss. I think a lot of teams are finding themselves this weekend kind of playing themselves in or out of real contention, and the conference is like that. It's very competitive. There might be a reality that there might not be quite as much high profile this year, but I think when you're kind of looking at, teams that are legitimately, 5 through 20 in the country, I think there may be 4 or 5 teams that are that worthy. There may not be 3 or 4 top 10 teams, but I think there's legitimately that type of value in the league. And it's all going to play out here in front of us here in the next couple of weeks, and obviously each game counts as one, and we got an opportunity to get number 5 here this week, and we got to remain focused on that target.
One more real quick, Coach. Have you ever thought about adding a big lineman like Moose or Craig as an up-back to help out with blocking within a goal line offense a la William Perry of the Chicago Bears? Just trying to get you a few more touchdowns. That's from Carolina Spider. I think woke up on the wrong side of the bed with that. I mean, in the red zone, we're 18 of 19 with 14 touchdowns. The numbers are pretty good.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking, though.
Kyle's worried out about that response. He wants to know.
Weston wants the ball all the time. I mean, he comes out all the time. He throws more passes out there than Loretta throws during practice. He's wearing me out. That's a good idea. I mean, if we don't have some punch at fullback, and I think along those lines, I think one of the things that I have been thinking hard about, and probably will happen sooner or later, is I may take 1 or 2 of our O-linemen and move them over to D-line for goal line defense. All right, so that is a more likely scenario this year moving forward than me actually doing what he had suggested, going the other way. We're going to fit in the D-line. We're playing some really young defensive linemen, and they're not really physically to play goal line defense. So if I want a 300-pounder out there, I got a handful of them, but they're on offense. So to be able to do that and train them in some specific techniques, I think is something that we're talking about and may happen sooner than later.
How good do you feel about those red zone numbers? I mean, 18 and 19 leads the league, and 14 of those are touchdown, and your field goal kicker has kicked the other 4.
Well, one of them they took in May. We're not running at the clock. I don't remember the game. Hampton. It was right. We're not in the ball over to Hampton, so I mean, that one there certainly was by our decision or discretion. So we talk all the time about finishing, and I think if this team can continue to finish, obviously it's going to be a really important point here this weekend up at Rhode Island, and that's what Baylor didn't do. Baylor marched the ball up and down the field, but they never finished their drives, penalties and turnovers, and if we can finish our drives here this weekend, I think we'll be able to continue to stay on course towards our goals of this season.
Actually looking forward to getting on the road, hanging out with these guys, and getting a win Saturday at Rhode Island. Looking forward to it, Coach. Thanks.
That's all about appreciate it.
Andy Carolina, our guest, give him a good round of applause. Mr. Bradley is produced on location with McCoy Martozis in our ESPN 950 studios. No Jackson, so long. We'll talk to you Saturday, 11:30 a.m. with our kickoff show, and then the Spiders in Rhode Island at high noon Saturday afternoon. We'll talk to you then right here on ESPN 950, Sports FM 100.5, and the Spider IMG Sports Network, powered by Ace Electric. So long from Outback for today's edition of the Spider Sports Line.